guys, so for today's video I'm going to be doing a fall cat-eye design, and this is a pretty easy design. I would say beginner friendly. The hardest part about this set is going to be the ring nail, but we will get to that, or I'll explain that when we get there. To start off, I'm taking, what is this, bare bones? I think this is bare bones from Ballpit, and I'm pretty sure I only painted 3 of the nails with this. I don't remember which 3 nails that I did with this, but I'm pretty sure I painted 3 of the nails with this, and I did 2 coats of this, and I cured each coat for 60 seconds. Okay, I think I did the middle, the ring, and the thumb. Just going based off of what is happening on screen right now, I'm pretty sure I did the middle, ring, and thumb with this color. 2 coats, cured each coat for 60 seconds. Sometimes I will do 3 coats with these sheer polishes, but for this set I did do 2. That's actually a lie. I did end up doing a 3rd coat later on, but we'll, like I said, I'll explain that when we get there. For the cat eye, I'm using House of Horrors from NAILZ by Dev. It is this super pretty, like, brown, kind of orangey cat eye. It almost resembles rust to me. I think it is so pretty. It is my favorite cat eye that I have because I just love the color so much, but I honestly don't use it often because of the color it is, and I just don't really do anything that warrants using this color often. But because it is fall time, I felt like this would be the perfect time to use it. It's the perfect shade for fall. I absolutely love this color. So I do 1 coat of this, and I magnetize it with my little round magnet. You can do whatever kind of design you want to do. I kind of just brought all the little magnet pieces up to the surface. I wasn't really trying to do anything specific with it. I just wanted, you know, a nice little cat eye effect. And then I did end up doing a 2nd coat of this cat eye just because I felt like once I magnetized it, some parts were looking a little sheer, like when you look at it at certain angles and how the magnets, the little pieces were on the nail, it just looked a little sheer, and I wanted to darken it up a little bit. So I did do a 2nd coat, and I just did it the same way. I do show me doing the 2nd coat. Usually I don't show me doing a 2nd coat whenever I do multiple coats, just because you saw me do the first one and I'm doing the same thing for the 2nd one. But I am showing the 2nd coat because it is cat eye, and I think cat eye is so satisfying to watch and to like see the little particles move all over. I wasn't trying to like line up the design or line up what I did the first time with the 2nd time. It gives a little more dimension when you don't line it up, and like one angle you'll see the first layer, and then another angle you'll see the 2nd layer that you did. That doesn't always work, I will say. But in this case it did work out like that. Like some angles you could see what I did on that first layer, some angles you could see what I did on that 2nd layer. But yeah, I just did 2 coats because, like I said, I wanted to darken up that color a little bit, make it so it wasn't so sheer on those parts where the magnet pieces weren't visible on. You could also do like a black base underneath, or if you have like a similar color to this cat eye or whatever cat eye you're using, you could lay that down first and then put the cat eye on top of it, and you won't have that problem with the sheerness. After doing that, I am doing an ombre on 2 of the nails, 2 of the nude nails. so, with that same cat eye color, and I just go up the nail. I don't go halfway up the nail. I go like, I don't know fractions. Oh my gosh. um like a third of the way, maybe a fourth of the way. I don't know. Um but whenever I do ombres, I don't go all the way up with the polish how far I want the ombre to go up, because I am going to be dragging it out more, and I don't want like the entire nail to be covered with that polish, if that makes any sense. I feel like that did not. Anyhow, I just did like a layer of that cat eye color, and then I'm taking my ombre brush from Ballpit, and I'm just kind of patting and dragging the polish up the nail to blend it out and like feather it out to get that ombre effect. I have such a hard time trying to explain what I'm doing whenever I do ombres. I need to do like a more in-depth video on ombres and like explain what I'm doing as I'm doing it, because I feel like I'd be able to explain it a little better that way than like doing it and then trying to explain it later after it's done. Anyhow, I did the ombre, and then I magnetized it in the way that I wanted, and then I cured that, went on, did the second nail, did the same thing, applied the polish, and then used the ombre brush. I only did one coat of this because with that nude base there, I felt like it was good enough to just have the one coat of it, versus when I just put this on the clear nails, it felt like it needed that second coat, or even like, I just feel like this polish, this cat eye, kind of needs like a base coat or like a base color underneath of it to kind of help it pop out a little bit more, if that makes any sense. So anyhow, did this ombre and then magnetized it and then cured it for 60 seconds. And then I felt like the lines weren't blended out super well for the ombre. It was looking a little streaky, so I did another coat of that nude color. Like I said in the beginning, I originally said I only did two, but I did end up here doing a third coat, which it wasn't a third coat on the entire nail, just on this ombre part, or like the top half, just to try and diffuse the lines a little bit. I will admit I'm still not the greatest when it comes to ombreing this way. I am so used to, and I've like mastered the skill of ombreing with sponges, because that's what I used to do all the time whenever I would use regular nail polish. But because this is gel, and you don't want to get gel all over your skin, because that'll lead to... Oh, I was trying to show a comparison here between the two, if you could tell. I feel like on camera you can't really tell a difference, but like in person I felt like it really made a difference. But anyhow, like I was saying, you don't want to get uncured gel all over your skin. That leads to acrylate allergies. So I don't do the sponge method anymore. Really, I will do the sponge method on press-ons because I'm not doing it on an actual person. But if I were to be doing an ombre on myself or on someone else, I would not do the sponge method because that does get messy and it does get polish all over the skin. Um, because the sponge is whiter than the nail. So that's why I'm trying to get better at doing ombres this way. Sometimes I can get them fairly decent, other times not so much. It also depends on the colors that are being used. Some colors are a lot easier to ombre than others. Usually darker colors are super hard and like lighter colors are more easy to do. Jelly colors usually are the easiest just because there's not a whole lot of pigment with them. But anyhow, so I've been trying to practice a lot more with doing ombres with the ombre brush over using a sponge because, like I said, I wouldn't recommend doing the sponge method on an actual human just because you don't want to get the polish all over the skin. For the, what is that, the ring nail, because it is that nude, I wanted it to match the nude on those ombre nails, and because I ended up doing a third coat on those, I did a third coat on this just so it was like the same amount of sheerness, I guess, on this nail, and it wasn't like this one wasn't less or was more sheer than the other two because those ones had 3 coats, whereas this one would only have 2, so I added the third to even it all out. It didn't make much of a difference, but I don't know, I just felt better about making it all even. Cured that, wiped it off with alcohol because I am going in and doing a plaid design on this, and like I said, I feel like this is probably the most difficult of the entire set because you do have to do all these long straight lines, and I feel like that can be on the more difficult side for someone who is just starting out with doing nail art. I guess ombres can be kind of tricky too, but I feel like an ombre is a little bit easier than doing straight lines on a nail, because doing straight lines on a curved surface is not easy. So for this, I usually, when I do plaid nails, I will do white and black, but I felt like that was going to be too stark of a difference. Like just having a pure white on this nude and then having a pure black on this nude along with like the cateye on the other nails just was going to look a little off. So I decided to use a cream color. I think this is Cheesecake from not NAILZ by Dev. Ballpit. And I just did the long vertical line going down the one side of the nail, and then I did the horizontal line going across down at the bottom. My lines were actually being really wonky this day. I was struggling with this plaid. Usually plaid is not that hard for me, but for some reason when I was doing this, I was struggling. Like my lines were coming out so wobbly and uneven, and I have no idea what was going on this day. I am using a 15mm liner brush for this to try and absorb some of that shakiness that I was experiencing, but it was not working. Like they are so wobbly. Like I said, I don't know what was going on this day when I was doing this, and like why this plaid design was being so difficult for me. And whenever I do plaid, I don't cure in between doing these two lines. So sometimes people will do the vertical line first, flash cure that, and then go in and do the horizontal line. I don't do that because I don't like how when they cross over each other, that part there where they intersect is going to be raised up and not one layer. It's going to be like a second layer, and you're going to have like a little bump there. Whereas if you just do it all at the same time before curing, it levels out into each other and it's one smooth surface. So if you are more comfortable flash curing, then go ahead and flash cure. But I do recommend like practicing and not flash curing, because it's just going to make things a little easier. And then when you go in and do these lines here, it's going to make it easier because it's one flat surface and you don't have like a bump you have to try to go over. While you might not see that bump like with your eyes, when you go in and paint over it, you're going to feel it when you paint over it. And it's going to be... it makes it a little more challenging to paint because you have to go over this bump, and like the bump can like disconnect your lines a little bit, and then you have to like try and fix it and everything. It's really annoying and I hate it. That's why I don't cure in between. Like I do both those lines at the same time. I'm pretty sure I only did one coat of that cream color, and then I went in with this brown color. I don't remember which color this is, but I did show it earlier. It's also linked down below in the description. And again, same thing like with the cream lines. I don't cure in between. I do them all at the same time. That way they all level out into each other and there's not like little bumps where they all cross over each other. Again, I was struggling doing these lines. They were not working out. Even those first couple lines that I did, it just felt really uneven for some reason, and I tried doing it again off camera because I'm like, maybe, I don't know, filming right now just isn't working out for me, so let me try doing it off camera and see if I can make it better. Wasn't working. So then I did the trick that a lot of people do, where they will apply a matte top coat, especially whenever they're doing like character art and they have to do the black outline afterwards. A lot of people will apply the matte top coat because it will help to level out the nail so it's all one surface. And the reason why you do a matte top coat over like a shiny top coat is because it does have some grip to it, so it's easier to paint on. Whereas if you paint over a shiny surface, it is kind of slippery and a little hard to paint on. So that's why the matte top coat. So like realistically, you could use a shiny top coat for this to even out the surface, but the matte top coat is just for the grip, so you can paint on it easier. I did that. The lines were coming out a little bit easier. The nail felt a lot smoother. I don't know why I was feeling so bumpy and lumpy whenever I was doing it, because it was all the same level and everything. I don't know what was going on. I was having an off day when doing this plaid. But doing the matte top coat trick definitely helped a lot. It's still not my best work when it comes to plaid nails. I've definitely done better, cleaner, straighter lines than I did for this nail, but yeah, I was just having an off day when it came to plaid nails apparently. So I do the two lines on the outside and then I do the one line in the middle, which this line in the middle was really giving me a hard time. Like, that one was where I was struggling the most. The two lines on the outside weren't so bad, but then getting to this line here in the middle was, I mean, you can see I was struggling. Took me a while to get it. And you can always use a cleanup brush to fix your lines if they're not how you want them. I will say when they're this close together, it gets a little tricky because you could accidentally wipe away something you don't want to wipe away. So I didn't use a cleanup brush. I was just hoping I could fix it by painting it. It still wasn't that great, but it was good enough. And then I went in and did the horizontal lines while those vertical lines were still wet. Again, like I said, from the cream lines, whenever I do plaid like this, I don't like to cure in between because of that little lump that gets created when you cross over the already cured lines. And then once I got this done, I did go ahead and cure for 60 seconds. And then for the little accent lines, I used the Cateye polish that I was using earlier. It's kind of hard to see the Cateye effect because the line is so thin. I did try to make it a little bit thicker than what I would usually do for a plaid, just so you could see the Cateye effect more. Because usually with the plaid, I would have left it that thin. But like I said, because I am using this Cateye and I did want you to be able to see the Cateye effect a little better, I did make it a little bit thicker, but I didn't want to make it too thick because I felt like it would have looked a little weird. So I just did the vertical line parallel to that first set of vertical lines that I did, and then I did a horizontal line. I did the Cateye effect first, then I flash cured, and this goes against what I was saying earlier about not flash curing or curing in between the lines, but I was also using the Cateye gel, so I needed to magnetize it first before moving on to the next line, because trying to do the Cateye for both of those lines, like in up around where they connect, would be a little difficult. So I did break my own rule for this, but just because I was using the Cateye, and it's fine. It doesn't really, like, the bump that comes from crossing these lines isn't really that big of a deal. I just personally don't like it because, for me personally, I'm going to know it's there on the nail and I'm going to feel it, and I'm going to constantly be like rubbing my fingers on it and like feeling it, and it's going to annoy me because it's going to be that one little area that is bumped up and the rest of the nail is smooth. So it personally bothers me, but honestly, it's really not that big of a deal. Oh yeah, I forgot. I don't know what happened after I did that second line there with the Cateye. I know I stuck the nail in the lamp, and I could have sworn I hit the button to cure it for 60 seconds, and I could have swore the light was on, and then it shut off, and it cured, And then when I went to apply the top coat, it came completely off. Like, it smeared off the nail, like it didn't get cured at all. I was so confused. But also, when I'm doing these, I will go on my phone in between while I'm curing, because I have nothing else to do. Like, at that point, everything else was done and cured. So I was on my phone. So I may not have actually hit the button to cure it. And I was so confused because I'm like, did my lamp just completely die on me? Or like, what just happened? Why did that wipe off? So I redid it and I re-cured it, and I watched it the whole time to make sure that the light was actually on and it was actually curing. And then when I took it out and I like went to top coat it, it was fine. So I don't know, I honestly must have not have hit the button, or I accidentally hit the button twice or something, because it cured just fine after that, and like my lamp works just fine. I did some tests on it to make sure that it was curing stuff fine, but it just confused me so much in the moment. Like, why didn't that cure? I seriously thought I was about to have to buy a new lamp, which I was going to be really annoyed about because I just bought this lamp probably like a year ago or so. But anyhow, after I cured them, this is the finished result. I don't know if I mentioned this actually. I did use my LGN shiny top coat. That's the top coat I always use. If you watch my videos, then you know that's always the shiny top coat that I use for just about everything. Sometimes I'll use my Jinbei top coat, but it's not really my favorite. So I do typically stick with the LGN one because I really love that one. But anyhow, this is the finished result. I think they're super pretty. I really love them. I love this cat eye color. Like I said, this is my favorite cat eye polish that I own. It is so pretty, and I just love the color of it because the base of it is like a dark brown, kind of like jelly color, and then the magnet pieces are like this orangey color, and it makes this really cool like rust color on the all together. And I just really love this cat eye color, and the set all together looks really nice. I definitely could have done a little better on the ombres, but honestly they're not too bad. I feel like the fact that I used a cat eye polish with like a sheer polish helped a little bit with that. But overall, I really am happy with this set, and I really love it. But that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.